Hello there, my name is Martin from Inquest Research and Consulting Company, and I'm going to be taking you through the Whatif analysis. So Whatif analysis can be found under data, Whatif analysis. So we have three items. We have the goal seek, we have the scenario manager, then the data table, which I'm going to cover very briefly. So to be able to illustrate, I'm going to take an example whereby we are taking a loan. Let's say a loan of, we have the loan amount there, we have the interest rate, then we have, what else, the duration. So let's see how much we're going to be repaying. So the PMT function is going to come in handy. Let's assume we are taking a loan of $10,000, interest rate of 14%, then the duration of 60 months. So the calculation is going to be PMT. The interest rate is 14% divided by 12 because we are repaying per month. Then NPR is the number of payments. Then the PV, which is the present value, is the loan amount. So we have the 232. If you don't want it as a negative, then you can always put a negative at the back there. So a client may be interested to know, what if I'm repaying, I want to repay at per month, I want to be repaying 15,000. So how much loan should I, per month I want to be repaying $1,000. How much loan should I be able to take? So what I'm going to do is that we are going to use the Whatif analysis. The first one is the goal seek analysis. So we are saying that we want to set this to 1,000. So how will that affect the loan amount? What loan amount should I be able to put? So I'm going to set this to $1,000 by changing the loan amount. So I'm going to click on that and click OK. So it's going to calculate and say that it has found a solution. What is the solution? Oh, sorry, I cancelled that. I should have kept that. So I click OK, set that to $1,000. By changing the loan amount, I click OK. I'll click OK. So we now have the answer there. The solution is to be able to be paying per month $1,000. Then we have to take a loan of $42,977. So that is how you can be able to use the goal seek. You come up with a formula that is reading from the cells. Then you use the goal seek to be able to do that. So notice that this is not a value but a formula. So let us see the next item, which is the scenario manager. So I'll paste that one there. So to fit that. So let us see. Now we want to see a scenario whereby the client, before they take up the loan, they want to see how is the scenario. What if you can come up with several scenarios and see how that is going to affect what I'm going to be repaying per month. So you can be able to do that by changing the values there. So I'm going to click on the scenario manager. So this is where the scenario manager, you add a scenario. Let's say the first scenario. You can give it any name. So let's take a best case scenario. What do you want to be changing? I'll select, let's say, the first three. But before I do that, I just need to do something here. I need to rename these cells right here to reflect this name right here. So let's see. So you can select that and go to formulas, create from selection, and click OK. Say yes because I had renamed that. Good. So I have this as loan amount, that as interest rate, that as duration, that as PMT, because when you see the results, they are going to use those names instead of referring to B1 and so on. So let's now go back to the Whatif analysis. Scenario manager. Let me add the first scenario, the best case scenario. So by changing what cells? So let's assume you are changing these first three cells. You click OK. So if you wanted to change this, you can be able to change, but this time we're only playing around with the interest rate. So the best case scenario, we're anticipating that this can go down. So let's say maybe up to 10%. Add another scenario, maybe the worst case scenario. By changing the same cells, click OK, and maybe we're anticipating what if that would go to 20%, how would that affect our payment per month. So I click add to add the last one, maybe a normal scenario, whereby we're anticipating the interest rate to change, but maybe not with a very huge margin. So I'm maybe going to put it at maybe 16%. So I click OK now that I'm done putting. So you can always add any other scenario, but this time I'm done adding. So we want to see the summary. So just click on summary, choose whether you want it in a pivot table or just a scenario summary. So I'm going to click summary. Make sure that the result cell is where you have the formula. So I'm just going to click OK. And now I can be able to see, why we are using the named ranges, because now this would have been B2 and so on, and you don't want that happening. So you want it to give you the actual name of the cell. So the PMT, the current rate, but let us see the scenario. So we are looking at, if you are picking a loan of 42,000, we are going to be paying 913 down from 1,000. Worst case scenario is going to be 1138 up from 1,000. But then a normal scenario is this: then the client is able to make the decision whether they are comfortable with that. So that is a scenario manager, and you can always come up with any other formula that will help you with that. So let us do the last one, which is the data table. And for the data table, again, we are still going to use the same formula, the same calculation, but in a different way. So I'm going to copy that and paste it right there. So in this case, we are looking at a scenario whereby we have, let's say, the loan amount. So we can start with, let's say, $500. You can have that. Maybe the next should be you can put it at 1,000. You can have it growing up to that range. Let's put it up to maybe just 10,000. That's okay. Then here we have different interest rates, so we can start with, let's say, 8%, then 10%, then that can grow with the same margin, let's say up to maybe, for example, 30%. Yeah. Then now we need to bring this formula and cut it. Now remember, I'm not copying, because if you copy, the references are going to change, but this time I'm cutting so that my references still remain intact. That's still referring to those cells. Now can put a margin there, so I'll just merge that, maybe put that is the interest rate. Then I'll also merge these cells right here, merge that, center that, and maybe change the text direction. I have that as that is the loan amount. Okay, good. So you can also format that, Control-Shift-4, that will put it as a $. Then I'm going to select this part there, close that. Good. So I have it there. So let us see how we can be able to use the last option there. So the idea here is to be able to put this formula right at the junction where these two cells are there meeting. You put that formula there, then you select the entire range up to there, and be able to now use the data tables. So I'm going to select the data table. You need to specify what is on the row. In this case, the interest rate is on row number 8. So you refer to the cell that has the interest rate. Remember, this formula is referring to this, so that is what is going to be used in multiplying and doing the calculations. What is on the column? The column is accommodating the loan amount, so I'm going to put the loan amount there. Then I click OK. So we see that that has been calculated. Maybe I can remove the decimals. Let's remove the decimals from there. So we can see that now if I take a loan of $500 at 8%, maybe I can put a slight differently color shade for that. So if I take a loan of 500 at 8%, then I'm going to be repaying $10 per month. So if I take a loan of 10,000 at 30%, I'm going to be repaying $324, and I can be able to test that, and maybe I can put some conditional formatting here to see how that is changing. So I'm going to use the color scales, whereby we have we can have that. So minimum amount, where we're having a small amount, you can see that is at red, and you can see it growing as we go down here. So we can test whether the calculations are true and be able to see. If I take a loan of $10,000 at 30%, how is that going to be? So I'll just put a 30 there and see whether it's this cell right here is giving me the correct answer. Looks like it's not. Oh, sorry, this should be 10,000. So let me put the 10,000 there. You can see. So if I take a loan of 10,000 at 30% is 60. That will give me 324, which is exact same value that I'm having here. However, you need to note that you cannot delete any part of this because it's using the array formulas to be able to calculate. So you can now be able to use the data manager. So a quick highlight of what we've just done. goal seek, we came and put this calculation, and we wanted to know if I want to repay 1,000, how much loan should I take? Then we say that you go to data, Whatif analysis, then you use the goal seek. The second one was the scenario manager, whereby we were able to put the same formula, but then we created the scenarios by using the scenario manager. Here we added the 3 scenarios, and then we clicked on scenario summary to be able to have this. The last one is the data table, whereby we put the formula here, then we put these computations, these values right here. Then we were able to cut the formula from here and paste it here. We selected this part from here to there. Then we're able to now use the data table that was able to do the computations for us and give us that. So that is the end of the Whatif analysis. If you have any question, you can always do us a mail. We'll be able to respond to that. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.